This is not the first ceasefire resolution that's been before the United Nations, but in fact, the United States has previously vetoed 3 of them, but this one was US-led. It supported an immediate and sustained ceasefire and the release of hostages in Gaza. But like the United States, Russia and China are permanent members of the Security Council and have veto power, which they exercised. They said that this resolution was too ambiguous, that it wasn't strongly worded enough. It didn't contain, they said, a direct call for the end of all fighting in Gaza, and that it fell short of the expectations of the international community. Now, the US has said that this veto was cynical. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, as you mentioned, has been in Israel, and as he boarded his plane to come back to the US, he stopped to speak with reporters and expressed some disappointment about this outcome.
On the resolution, which got very strong support, but then was cynically vetoed by Russia and China, I think we were trying to show the international community's sense of urgency about getting a ceasefire tied to the release of hostages, something that everyone, including the countries that vetoed the resolution, should have been able to get behind. The resolution, of course, also condemned Hamas. It's unimaginable why countries wouldn't be able to do that. But I think the fact that we got such a strong vote despite the veto by 2 of the permanent members of the Security Council, again, is evidence and demonstration of the commitment, the conviction of countries around the world.
That's Antony Blinken there, speaking after his one-on-one meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What happened during that meeting?
Well, Antony Blinken has been in the Middle East frequently since the October 7 attack by Hamas on Israel. But over the months of this war, the US support for its ally, Israel, has grown more nuanced. Mr. Blinken said that he wanted on this trip to have candid conversations. He was involved with talks about hostage negotiations, hostage release negotiations, which have been continuing for weeks, but so far don't show much sign of a breakthrough. But in this one-on-one meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, Mr. Blinken says that he reiterated the US's position about Israel's planned military ground invasion on Rafah, where more than 1 million Gazans are currently sheltering. Mr. Blinken says that he told Mr. Netanyahu that this would be a mistake, that it risked killing civilians, it risks interrupting humanitarian assistance to Gaza, and that it risks isolating Israel on the global stage, and that could be damaging to its long-term security and its long-term standing. Mr. Netanyahu has said that while Israel would prefer Washington's support on this issue, it is willing to go it alone, but an Israeli delegation is going to visit Washington DC next week, and it's certain that this topic will be a major factor in those talks.